Have you ever wondered why it seems like some people effortlessly attract everything they want, while others remain stuck in a cycle of frustration and exhaustion? The truth is, the secret isn't about working harder or waiting for the universe to feel sorry for you. The secret lies in something no one ever told you, or if they did, you probably didn't listen because it sounded too mystical. But it's not. It's science, it's mindset, it's action. And more than that, it's philosophy applied with strategy. While many people chase magical formulas, there's a quiet, almost invisible path being followed by those who consistently achieve real results. A path that starts in thought, gains strength in emotion, and becomes real through action. And no, this isn't self-help talk. It's grounded manifestation. It's Stoicism being lived in the real world, among emails, bills, and tough decisions. And once you understand that, you begin to see a kind of power that goes far beyond what you were ever taught. The problem is, hardly anyone teaches this in a practical way. They talk about positive thinking, but forget to explain how to maintain that mindset when everything falls apart. They talk about acting with faith, but ignore the importance of stopping, silencing, and breathing before making a move. That's why this video is different. Here you'll learn how to master the most powerful triad there is. Think with clarity, feel with conviction, and act with purpose. All of it in a simple, human, and most importantly, practical way. So if you're tired of feeling lost, of repeating the same mistakes, and of watching your dreams slip through your fingers, maybe it's time to understand how tranquility can be more powerful than brute force, and how your mind can be your greatest ally in achieving your goals. What you're about to discover may seem counterintuitive, but it will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about success, purpose, and manifestation. And the best part, you can start today. Now, let me show you exactly how this works. Most people believe that in order to achieve something great in life, you have to rush, force things, fight against everything. But the wise have always known, true strength lies in calmness. When the mind is quiet, decisions become clear. That's where Stoicism shines, teaching us that serenity isn't the absence of action, but the presence of direction. A simple example? Imagine someone trying to solve a problem in traffic, yelling, honking. Does that fix anything? Now think of someone who takes a deep breath, observes, and acts with full awareness. Who do you think gets further with less stress? That inner calm is like a muscle. It needs to be trained. And not on a deserted island, but in the middle of everyday chaos. When you start practicing conscious breathing, for instance, you're building a bridge between impulse and action. Instead of reacting, you choose to respond. The difference between someone who gets frustrated by criticism and someone who grows from it lies exactly in that pause. Cultivating this habit isn't a luxury, it's emotional survival. And this skill changes everything: relationships, work, money, because the one who rules their own mind rules their own destiny. It's not about isolating yourself or ignoring your problems. It's about changing the lens through which you see them. The Stoic mindset suggests that life isn't under our control, but our attitude is. And that small difference changes everything. When a challenge appears, you can ask yourself, is this under my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If it's yes, take action. As simple as that. It may seem minor, but this way of thinking can save you years of anxiety. People who live this way don't freeze. They move with purpose, with focus, with conscious action. It's amazing how serenity even changes your body's physiology. Studies show that people who live more peacefully have lower inflammation, greater mental clarity, and even sleep better, and that reflects in real-world results. You know those people who seem to have luck? More often than not, they're simply the ones who've learned to listen to silence before acting. That allows them to notice opportunities the anxious ones completely miss. It's as if life whispers, but only those at peace can hear it. The manifestation of what you desire doesn't come through shouting, but through alignment between mind, body, and soul. That's why learning to cultivate inner calm is an essential step toward achievement. It's the fertile soil where all other virtues grow. Gratitude, visualization, self-confidence. You can't plant seeds in dry land. Those who live in internal war rarely win battles on the outside. Serenity doesn't take you out of the game. It puts you in the most strategic position, and it's precisely that solid foundation that opens the door to understanding how small stories can show us the real power of manifestation. Helene always dreamed of having a small cafe in the neighborhood where she grew up. She had no money, no connections, just a fixed idea and a little notebook full of sketches. Every night before bed, she would write about what her cafe would be like, visualizing the smell of fresh bread, the sound of the espresso machine, even the staff uniforms. But here's the thing. She didn't do it with anxiety. She did it with calm. That's the difference between wishing and manifesting, the mindset. She acted as if she were already living it. And that, combined with conscious breathing and self-confidence, helped her see opportunities she used to overlook. Clarice, on the other hand, wanted a home. Not just a house, but a place of peace. For a long time she thought she had to wait for the right moment, until she realized that the right moment was the exact moment she started to take action. So, even while living in a rented room, she began treating that space with gratitude. She cared for the plants, cleaned with love, added scents to the room, as if she were already in her dream home. That attitude shifted her energy, and as if by magic, but it wasn't, a financing opportunity appeared with interest rates far below the market. Manifestation? Yes, but fueled by habit, purpose, and mindfulness. What these stories have in common isn't just faith, it's how they acted. They didn't sit around waiting for the universe to give a sign. They became the sign. That's what it means to live with action. That's what it means to live with Stoicism. Because manifesting isn't just about asking, it's about aligning mind and body to move calmly toward what you want. This applies to anyone who wants to start a business, move to a new city, or find love. It all begins with a choice. Think as if you already are, feel as if you already have, act as if you're already living it. Realization is born from that tripod. Of course, it's not enough to just imagine and sit back. Visualization needs to be followed by movement, even if it's small. Actions like signing up for a course, changing your morning routine, or going out to meet new people, all of that counts. It doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes simply reorganizing your room can shift your mindset. And that small gesture creates a domino effect. Manifestation grows stronger when there's alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. It's like tuning an instrument. Slowly, everything begins to play in the right key. Silence becomes an answer, habit becomes a guide. And speaking of guides, many of the most powerful lessons aren't found in books, but in experiences lived with awareness. Observing what worked for Helene and Clarice can be the first step in understanding that manifestation is a journey, not an instant miracle. When you choose to walk with lightness, with calm, with focus on the now, everything starts to make sense. And in that vibe, timeless teachings emerge, the lessons the Stoics left behind that even today transform lives. Stoic wisdom isn't meant to stay locked away in old books. It's meant to be lived day to day, with a coffee in one hand and bills in the other. One of the first lessons: the mind is the most important battlefield. The way you think shapes everything, from your mood to your bank balance. When you learn to filter your thoughts, you stop reacting to every provocation. You choose. And that's freeing. A practical example: Instead of waking up already complaining about Monday, you can start a morning ritual of gratitude. Write down 3 good things that happened yesterday. Small gesture, big mindset shift. Another Stoic gem: cultivate mindfulness. Don't live on autopilot. How many times have you eaten an entire meal and don't even remember the taste? The same goes for important decisions. Being truly present can turn even the simplest tasks into opportunities for growth. A powerful exercise? Practice conscious breathing for 5 minutes before any meeting, tough conversation, or important decision. It brings you back to your center, and from the center, you act, you don't react. This purposeful action helps prevent regret and brings more calm along the way. The third lesson is a classic that many still don't practice. Daily gratitude changes the game. But I'm not talking about shallow, automatic gratitude. I mean really feeling it. Pausing at the end of the day to ask, what happened today that's worth celebrating? It could be an unexpected compliment, a problem solved, or simply the fact that you breathed in peace. Gratitude prepares the ground for manifestation because it shifts your focus from what's missing to what already is. And when you vibrate at that frequency, life responds with more of the same, more reasons to be thankful. The fourth, breathe. Always. It sounds obvious, but most people go through the day in emotional apnea. Tension, anxiety, rushing, all of it blocks your vital energy. Conscious breathing has the power to reset your system. 3 deep breaths before a hard conversation can save you from major stress. A 10-minute guided breathing routine when you wake up can change your relationship with time, with stress, and with yourself. It gives you serenity. And when you have serenity, you manifest what you want in life with much more clarity. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, make action a habit, not an exception. Most people want to change their lives, but wait until they feel ready. The Stoics used to say, don't wait for courage to arrive. Act even when you're afraid. And that applies to starting a project, ending a toxic relationship, or moving to a new city. True fulfillment doesn't come from the comfort zone, it comes from purposeful movement. So if today you had to choose just one Stoic lesson to apply, choose to act. But act with awareness, with lightness, and with the right environment around you. Habit isn't just routine, it's identity in motion. What you do every day silently shapes who you're becoming. If someone constantly complains, even without realizing it, they're reinforcing a scarcity mindset. But someone who chooses to be grateful, even for the small things, is building fertile ground for manifestation. Stoicism teaches us that living with intention isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle, like brushing your teeth. Simple, repetitive, essential. If you want more calm, more fulfillment, you need to understand that everything starts with your daily life. But habits don't grow in a vacuum. They breathe the air of the environment they're in. Ever tried to eat healthier while surrounded by fast food? Exactly. Your environment can be a silent saboteur or a powerful ally. The same goes for your mindset. If you want more serenity, you need to spend time in places and around people who value silence, mindfulness, and purpose. A clean space, good lighting, and objects that inspire you might seem like small details, but they change your vibration, and that directly influences what you manifest. Think about it. Is it easier to develop the habit of reading when you keep a book on your nightstand or when it's buried in a drawer? Small changes in your environment can lead to major shifts in behavior. Want to start meditating? Create a little corner with a mat, a candle, and a soft scent. Want to work with more focus? Turn off notifications, put on an instrumental playlist, and let people know you're entering focus mode. It's not about controlling everything around you. It's about taking charge of what's within your reach. Conscious action. Another important point is realizing that your environment isn't just physical. It's also emotional and digital. The accounts you follow, the videos you watch, the groups you engage with, all of it either strengthens or weakens your self-confidence. If your feed is full of tragedy, gossip, and comparison, how can you expect to cultivate mindfulness? Swap that out for content that elevates your mindset. Follow profiles that talk about visualization, gratitude, and stoicism. Watch videos that challenge you to grow. Build a mental environment that becomes the foundation for your transformation. At the end of the day, the secret lies in aligning your habits and surroundings with who you want to be, not with what you're afraid of becoming. If your goal is to live with more peace, more focus, and more fulfillment, you need to plant that intention into every detail of your life. Manifestation happens when thought, feeling, and action walk hand in hand. And it's in that space that certain moments of the day reveal themselves as powerful portals of alignment. Few people realize it, but sleep is a silent teacher. It's during the night that the body regenerates and the mind reorganizes. Sleeping well isn't a luxury, it's a manifestation strategy. The way you fall asleep shapes much of your mindset when you wake up. Have you ever tried visualizing your goal in detail before bed? Imagining what it would feel like to live that dream with gratitude and calm, as if it were already real. This simple exercise, repeated as a habit, plants seeds in your subconscious. And the most fascinating part is that over time, your body starts to act as if that reality is already part of the present. The morning, in turn, is like a reset button. That's when you choose whether you'll be controlled by external chaos or take the helm of your own mind. Starting the day in silence with mindfulness is like tuning the radio to the right frequency. It's no coincidence that great leaders, athletes, and creators all have morning rituals. Meditation, reading, writing, conscious breathing, all of it prepares your inner world before the outer world starts to shout. A powerful example? Writing down 3 intentions for the day right after waking up, focused on achievement, purpose, and calm. It works like an emotional compass. Silence, by the way, is one of the greatest allies for anyone who wants to manifest something meaningful. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of self. In a world that never stops yelling, knowing how to quiet down is a superpower. It's in the silence that ideas arise, intuition strengthens, and emotions stabilize. And Stoicism reinforces: before you respond, think; before you act, breathe; before you decide, observe. Taking 5 minutes of silence between tasks might seem trivial, but it completely changes how you experience the rest of the day. It's in that pause that you reconnect with your essence. These rituals, sleep, morning, and silence, don't need to be rigid, but they do need to be intentional. It's not about having a perfect routine, but one that aligns you. A cup of tea, a notebook, a quiet walk. These are small anchors that bring you back to the present moment. And the present, my friend, is where manifestation happens. Not in the past, not in the when I have time. It's in the now, where action lives. That awareness changes how you organize your day, how you make decisions, how you live, and it prepares you to access something even more powerful: the inner drive to act with self-confidence. When these moments of the day are respected and nurtured with awareness, you create a magnetic field for everything you want to attract. The world starts to conspire in your favor when you learn to conspire with it. And that energy, fueled by mindset, conscious breathing, and small but consistent actions, is what paves the road, where visualization meets reality. It all begins in the mind, literally. Visualization is the rehearsal for realization. When you imagine something in detail with emotion and calm, your brain registers it as real, and your body responds. Elite athletes do this. Before a competition, they close their eyes and visualize every move, every sensation, every outcome. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience combined with intention. You can use this too. Want to change jobs? Visualize your ideal routine. Want to start a business? Imagine the customers, the praise, the wins. This activates your self-confidence, and that confidence pushes you to take action with greater courage. But here's the thing, visualization is not daydreaming. It's feeling with purpose. It's breathing consciously while imagining yourself living that moment. The difference lies in the quality of your mindfulness. If you close your eyes and think, this is never going to happen, guess what? It won't. But if you step into that vision with faith, with gratitude, with that inner smile that says, I'm getting there, then yes, doors start to open. Not because the universe is a magic genie, but because you begin to notice what you once ignored. The external world responds to what's vibrating inside. Self-confidence, in turn, is born from action. It doesn't appear out of nowhere. You build confidence by doing, even if you're shaking. And the more you act, the more you see that you're capable. It's like learning to swim. It's not enough to study the technique. You've got to get in the water. A great exercise is to look back and list everything you've already overcome. Create a victory journal. It feeds your mindset of achievement. And whenever fear shows up, you can go back and remind yourself, if I did that, I can do this too. That's how you build a strong confidence that doesn't sway in the wind. These two elements, visualization and self-confidence, work like levers. One shows you where you can go, the other gets you out of your chair. And together, they destroy the paralysis that comes from too much doubt. You don't need to be 100% ready, you just need to be 100% committed. Act even without having all the answers. Take the step, record that video, send that email, make that call. The universe responds to action, and it responds even more when that action is aligned with calm, clarity, and purpose. So if you're waiting for a sign to start, let me tell you, the sign is the image you've already seen 1,000 times in your mind. What you're missing isn't talent or time. What you're missing is giving life to what you've already been silently envisioning. And to do that, you'll need a simple yet revolutionary structure. Think with focus, feel with intensity, and act with consistency. A trilogy that, when applied well, transforms not just your results, but who you become in the process. There's a powerful engine behind every true manifestation: thinking, feeling, and acting. Separately, these three gears spin without traction, but together they create momentum, direction, and results. Thinking is how you give shape to the invisible. It's how you project possibilities with a clear mindset. Feeling is what brings emotion into that thought. And that's where visualization, gratitude, and calm come in. Without emotion, thought becomes noise, but feeling alone isn't enough either. That emotion needs to drive action because it's in movement that ideas take form, and it's in this trilogy that the magic of real transformation lives. A lot of people stay stuck because they think too much, feel too little, and act almost never. Others live in non-stop action, on autopilot, without purpose or mindfulness. Neither of these approaches work. The secret lies in alignment. Think with clarity, feel with presence, and act with intention. Imagine someone who wants to change their financial life. If they only think about it, but feel guilty every time they talk about money and take no action to shift their habits, nothing changes. But if they study calmly, believe they deserve to prosper, and begin investing, even with a small amount, everything starts to change. This trilogy can be applied to any area of life. Want to lose weight? Think about your goal with lightness. Visualize yourself full of energy and health. Feel the joy of wearing that outfit you love, of climbing stairs without getting tired. And then start with small actions. A 20-minute walk. drinking water before coffee, getting your sleep routine in check. Want to improve your relationships? Think with empathy, feel gratitude for the right people, and act with generosity. A sincere compliment, an apology, an unexpected message. Simple things, but with real intention. And intention changes everything. The trilogy also teaches that there's no growth without discomfort. Thinking differently is uncomfortable. Feeling deeply takes courage. Acting outside your comfort zone is scary, but all of it is necessary. If you want to live with more calm, more presence, more fulfillment, you have to allow yourself to step into unknown territory. Stoicism doesn't tell you not to feel. It tells you to feel with mastery. And when that happens, you stop running from life and start building a new version of yourself, one habit at a time, one moment of silence at a time. And the most beautiful part of this trilogy is that it renews itself every day. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. You can always think better, feel deeper, and act more truthfully today, and tomorrow, and the next day. It's a virtuous cycle fueled by small, conscious choices. That's why you should never underestimate the power of a well-directed thought, a well-nurtured emotion, or a well-executed action. Because it's from that combination that the results that truly matter are born. Now that you understand how Stoicism, manifestation, and conscious action can completely transform your reality, tell me this. Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment? Or are you going to create it using the tools you already have? Will you keep living on autopilot? Or will you choose to live with purpose, with serenity, and with a clear vision of who you want to become? How many times have you sabotaged yourself because you didn't trust yourself? How many opportunities passed you because you didn't act in time? Maybe now is the moment to flip that switch. And listen, you don't have to change everything overnight. Start small. One conscious breath before a decision, one reprogrammed thought in the morning, one simple habit that brings you closer to your vision. The question is, are you willing to stop just surviving and start living with intention? Because if you've made it this far, something inside you wants more. It wants peace, it wants action, it wants transformation. And now you know it's possible. From this moment on, the choice is in your hands. And that choice, my friend, can change absolutely everything. So take this momentum, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. Here, we'll keep talking about how to master the mind, align the heart, and move the body toward the life you deserve to live. And the next step of your journey begins now.